Dun 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 dun. I mean, welcome to the blank screen of Dungeon Master. And as we stare into the frothy void, we do lie ourselves with something we've crossed before. But in Dungeon 90 of Dungeon Master, we go back to a place we've already been, but this time different. Or is it screechingly, resistantly the same? Or is it not ever the same twice, because there's movement connected to movement, which can never exactly look the same way twice, but cinema seems to prove the opposite? Excuse me, King. I didn't mean to seem like such a rogue when I sneezed in your presence, but it wasn't because you were there and saying foolish things. Dungeon Master, we got a problem. We got this letter that says there was an old man that was really mean. He was saying this whole Lord of the Rings thing was your fault, and that it's so offensive towards so many people that study the true religion of God, which we still haven't found yet, but we're in a Kool-Aid drinker, kinda, with the bishop and I'm the cleric. And I don't know, we're picking up a lot of money from the people. The poor, we make them pay us. Yours, Dungeon Master. Now this all looks familiar, but I'm telling you something looks different about it, like that it's in some other form of animation. And what, too, of the groundless dare that there is no of the original sound, but we have the tested, the pure, the renowned Mozart playing when we wave our fire sticks around, and that we had to jump forward was just terribly evasive of the remaining introduction, which was about 7 hours longer. And I'm not debating about time. I said in the original version. So animating this must have taken a long time, but this looks like video footage in a video game, very buried in this movie. A movie within a movie. And are video games movies? Or are there just movies in video games that you can watch like this one? Because that really looks like Ian McKellen is standing there in Gandalf ways, and they're getting ready to take the burden of the ring cycle off of these young, vulnerable hobbits. Dude, Dungeon Master, we seen this one, man. You've seen this one? You say it's the same one twice? But I have just found a commercial that you haven't seen, for instance. And everything's hunky-dory. We're flying right along. Nothing's looking too repetitious. No, Dungeon Master. As your audience member left, I want to tell you that you're directing this kind of like, no, it's okay now. This part's different. Okay, go ahead. Thank you. I was trying to scurry to not harm my critic from some redundant footage that I was so not sure how it would come out in this battle that I really looked for the skeleton men to fall. But as I come down here with the mirror lamp and hold sideways to the game apparatus that is conforming to perform the great task of man, to take it upon himself and make it swear, Dungeon Master 90 will rise above the others and not repeat the same dungeons ever again, because we've crossed alignment. And now we're wondering if Dungeon Master 91 will ever come out. And we're not even done with 90 yet. And it just so suspicions me because I remember on level 50, I didn't think there'd be a level 51. So why on level 90 should there be a level 91? And does this put us all in the dreadlocks of the Emperor's curse? And I didn't think you'd mind if we saw these actions. And he's about to see a courier about a message from the kingdom, but first he's got to slam this Filagook and take down its Tempora Mortis. And here we go. That's actually Latin for fidelity of orders. No, they don't really cognate that way. Hey, who's with me? Dungy? You still here, bro? Dungy's still here. You know, we could have chose a different way to go through, but, you know, I'm starting to enjoy this. After what a short time it's been, it makes me realize that maybe our time is limited in the world of this world of Tolkien, and all of his characters come to life as ninja acrobats. And that is why all video games are really about ninja acrobats. Because they can jump far and kick the crap out of a turtle if they need to. Like Mario, he's a ninja skydiver. But I'm seeing things that look familiar. Do you see what I'm saying on the screen? Like we could look all the way over through here and be really tired of where we are. But we're slipstreaming so fast that we're not meeting the required notion of where the selector may intersect. Because if it does, for instance, will it lead us back to the same scenes we condensed? Viggo Mortensen looks perturbed. He's about to say, look, if I'm gonna kill the enemy, I might as well do it now. And Gandalf gets his usual poetry reading going from Orthanos. And that this is actually cartoon again. This must be one of those mixed movies that has real footage and cartoons. What do you think? Did we catch on? What are they burning? What is this, Heaven's Gate? And anyways, those towns were gonna burn in digital live action when they could have just burned them in digital photography of a pixelation process known as dots per inch. The 4K being 4,000 K. That's a lot of data to move around, especially since there's things beyond it. Why are we still stuck on that menu? Why was the menu out for so long? Who left the menu out? That was my fault. I had the cursor on up here and I didn't want to truck wagon. Merlin's big moment. I mean Gandalf's big moment. Outside the castle towers where the guards are mean and the dwarves are heavy-handed with an axe. It's a heavy-hand axe. Oh, he got blown up for that one. Well, we're going through anyway. I don't know, Dungeon Master. This is getting better, don't you think? Like, at first I didn't like that religious guy talking about religion, but this part's pretty cool, because Gandalf's, like, slaying these dudes. The dwarf's cutting through like a chipper shredder with an axe. And does he have an axe to grind with these guys? And are these guys from Planet of the Apes, or what are these? Who are these henchmen that want Gandalf? Who would want Gandalf dead? Protector of thine universe, we must destroy you because your name is Gandalf, and we destroy things that protect the universe. Thank you. We're all just pleasantly surprised that, as if Mother Nature wasn't treated with the same harlotry, not her being a harlot, us to them. What am I talking about? These are not Pink Floyd lyrics, and do not get too close to that fire. It will totally burn through the iris of the camera. And now we need more color in the shot. More colorful images, because we've got a very drab shot, so there's colors now. Somewhere on the color guard, bringing in the true color of the mood, and that it's kind of in the shade. I don't know why when etching this guy up, it's not really the color I expected, but sometimes colors look different to different people. And oh, it's Barack Obama. Everybody get out your books and say they're not banned anymore. He told us that the librarians of the world, be wary, no book can be banned anymore, and they all must return to the library no matter what they are. It's the Obama Saves America's Books Act 2023. And it is labored with me to do everything that Obama says anyway, because I'm totally hypnotized with his magic powers. Now, the good guys just instructed us where to get the other guys for the Lord of the Rings saga to continue, and everybody's like, but we've seen this part. Well, I don't think I've seen this part, bro, because it's a random scene generator. Man, you can tell that Mozart's up loud, like, you can tell that they're really breaking home with the marriage of, or not the marriage of Figaro, sorry. Magic flute. What do you think, Dungeon Master? Well, I love the magic flute. I've been to the magic flute 3 times in a week. And I don't seem to talk loud enough to be over the magic flute's loud, exciting music. And as excited as we are at Dungeon Master, we must admit we're falling down for the count at this constant overstimulation, which we would not want you any other way. Now, if he gets up and starts hacking at their legs, he can actually beat these witch wizards. And Gandalf's getting pretty backed up then. Maybe he should thrust a spell. Oh, but Gandalf just got knocked on his ass. These guys are rough. He better use some magic. Gandalf, stop getting knocked over. Or I'll have to change to your character and knock over some witch wizards. Now, if we knock them down and head that way where all the bombs are flying, we might get into some more battles. What do you guys think? Battle it up, Merlin? I mean, Gandalf? Yeah. I know you knew Merlin, right? Merlin was yours? Merlin was a friend of mine. I knew him in Corkscrew. He was the magic Jedi that I always approved of in the Jedi Marathon, when all of the Jedis had betrayed me and left me behind to die. There was one Jedi who knew that I'd be angry when I found out I was betrayed. Betrayed, alas, I was able to be respectably granted reprieve from my completion of all these tasks that I complete. Dungeon Master as a whole will break the curse and curses of academia that probably put you through extra travails just to see if you could do it, and you'd thank him for it, except some of them were like, I hope he fails travails. Those people just need to be like cautioned, because eventually I'm going to end up with something better than them, and they're going to wish they hadn't blinded my sacred realm from all that is captive in my soul. Please take notice, there is no one to change, for the change lieth within you, and bold claims of after-Goth, of Visigoth, and things of Gothic nature, and Gothic spires of towers, and Gothic rhythms, and Gothic fingernail paint, and Gothic emus, and Gothic places, and Gothic remnants, and Gothic metaphors, and just the sake of being Gothica, and the sake of being Gothic, and Gothica, and Gothic folklore. Well, we've come to an impasse where this whole village is gonna burn if I can't hit that guy with my crossbow, which just leveled him off the map. And I'm shooting skeleton people with a sword. Hey, it's like Link's sword. No, he's actually got a crossbow that launches nuclear warheads. Bad for the environment, good for Lord of the Rings. Man, do we have to come on this adventure, man? I was asleep. What is this, one of your bootleg tapes? This is my friend, everyone. He's from another country, but I'm not allowed to say the name of the country because everybody knows I work for its film concert, and no one can convince me there's a single good one of them. Except that's what I'm trying to convince them, and they're not convinced. The truth is they're my friends, because without them, I'd have been left behind like the dirty dog that I'd have lied in my own vomit and disappeared. Hey, man, quit taking all the credit. Anyway, I think if we go past this way through the swamp, the forest swamp, we might be able to get out the other side and see what's going on. I mean, Dungeon Master, we gotta get a clear theory about this, because this just seems like a running gag, and really, how does this relate to Adventures in Dungeons and Dragons, huh? How do you propose that? Well, they're all equipped with inventory. They're getting levels up by fighting monster battles, and they're picking which way to go, and we're commentating on it to see how we respond to the commentary each time we grow in learning from images. Even if it just be learning good game moves in images. Be it that it's important, yes, not self-important, and that we know one day every knee shall bow and every tongue confess that Dungeon Master is God. And they will sacrifice time to go back through the game 3 more times and then retire, because like certain books, they shouldn't be read more than 3 times. Hey, Dungeon Master, I gotta get back to what I was doing. Can we go through this faster? Like, skip that commercial. It's a good commercial. It probably relies to some... Look, I made the commercial. Skip it. Well, I wouldn't hear it from you to skip a commercial, but okay. If you really want to get past the money point, I needed to run that a little longer, Nah, gotcha. All right, we're a little further into this level, but I'm afraid, like Swiss cheese, we come apart in different ways, for the sanctimony is upon us in strict supply in connection with the redemption of the foliage that we call our narration on the inference of a respectfully invisible proxy that seems of reason bereft. So I think you see how this connects to AT&D. It's more revolution than you think. I mean, just because we're bootlegging... Oh, sorry, what'd you say, guys? We're not bootlegging, we're making cartoons. Well, you can make a cartoon out of a video game, see? And now, insert tape B. So this is how you make a video game footage into a cartoon. We'll talk about other ones later, but this is how to. YouTube speaks for YouTube Masterclass to say this is how to make a cartoon out of your video game. So if you have an automatic play or a recording of you playing, then if you edit it from there, it pretty much becomes a cartoon, because once you take a piece out of it or leave it as one track, it's already images moving in a certain automatic way, but have been pre-mapped and taken down a passageway, and since it's different every time, it's carving into the media, it's cartoon. And all you have to do is really bootleg it. And it seems like a cheating way, but it's really not, because then you have to pay for the rights, and gosh, all the rights I've paid. I must have spent $60 trillion on rights so far. YouTube saved me a little bit, so they cut it in half, and they said, no, I'm just kidding, there isn't $50 trillion on the planet, really. Well, there might be, in some other fictitious universe. Yeah. I really only spent, like, a couple bucks. It charged me to get my overdraft fees off my card, and once I got my overdraft fees, then I just overdrafted the rights of every episode. So I'm actually billions of dollars in debt, and there's a big case coming up with the federales, and they're seeing if any of my cartoons are really cartoons, and They said their kids are watching them, and with the commentary, it could be some kind of sly satirical comedy. But doesn't satire indicate politics? And we know the apolitical game of all is AD&D, although it does kind of make you a soldier, but not necessarily fighting for a non-social cause, which we all know AD&D is the pure social service to keeping us from overlaying the world of fantasy, which we need to have because it's really there. We have to fight its battles. All these images are really happening in my imagination where I'm fighting battles for all of us. Dungy? This really compares to the end of Sanction 3 that was made in 2028. And I didn't understand how the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Part 7 was already coming out when Part 5 hadn't been made. But they had to stick with the comic book and skip episodes because of the quarantine, so they just left the episodes blank. And no, I'm getting that's a wrong facts. Where are we getting all our wrong facts from in Dungeon Master? Some of it's satire, right? Like we know it's wrong, but that last one really fooled me, and I'm left with this whole, is this authentic at all? Look, man, we can all talk during a movie, but that doesn't mean it's not our movie too. And who's moving the character? Someone next door? Someone right now? Is it random access memory? Or is it read-only memory? Well, we know the movie's read-only because we can't access any other point. But the non-linearity of the gameplay makes me think that comes from the random access memory. And that will burn us right over into the Heartland of Wonder. A birdie. Well, there's a guy that feeds birds. I like birds because they're so peaceful. And it's sad, though, because birds are the only animals that cry when they die. And I really hope you didn't take that the wrong way. But when their friends die, they cry too because they sing sad songs. You can know a bird is sad because of song, but Confucius, he says, die with a smile on your face, because just because the birds are sad doesn't mean you can't herald a song of victory on your deathbed. Me? I've been on my deathbed for 2 weeks. I got in one of these orc battles. Yeah, I got in an orc battle, and I was sinking this ship of all these orcs, and it was coming to lay waste to the kingdom, and I don't know, I got a hold of my drone connection, and flew it up there late, and I got this call, and it was me, dude. And I told you to get off your butt and help us out earlier. Your whole country's letting us down again. And we don't even have a leg to stand on in your country? Well, who's about to swipe the carpet from under you for being late? Oh, you're here. Never mind. You're fine. Yes, I remember it too. I was to capture my badges, which it was fun capturing badges for a local purpose. Badges for the sake of badges. This is what I go through for theology school, even in Dark Lordian theology, which is all we seem to write these days, in the context of the unholy scriptures of the damned. And I think it would be target practice or some kind of embarrassment for me not to preclude evidence to our nearing painful admission that this Dungeon Master episode can only go on so long because the overworked, the underprivileged, the underpaid, and the under-Citizen Kane's arms like he's lording it over the monkeys. Makes me wonder if Charles Foster Kane burnt his sled himself while babbling what he read on it and was just learning to read at that point of the movie, so that's why he slipped on a skate, because he couldn't see the sign that said caution, skates may be on the floor, that he had written himself. The whole mystery solved. Okay, where were we? Shoot that glow arrow. Shoot that glow arrow. We're gonna shoot some glowing arrows in the dusk. And it really looks like this game is faded as a cusp. But I didn't know we could shoot these mofos right down. Man, you're getting me distraught. I even had a frown because that dude ran over me with a Gibraldinator. Looks like the Rock of Gibraltar is coming up later. This is not a Hollywood musical, hang on. Why does that guy sing when he sucks? I mean, he sings good, but when he sings crappy, he does it on purpose, doesn't he? All right, everyone, we're getting too exciting. Just because we're the Fellowship of the frickin' Ring. And I can see it now. We give up a third of the way through because you monkeys couldn't get your act together. And now none of us can remember where Take B even started on. Hang on, I've got to log this footage. Be alert. There is no real cruelty to animals in this game. These animals are 3D graphic generated. But they're exactly from reality. But they don't feel it on the other avatar side of their actual dreamers that are moving them around and being crushed by the Lord of the Rings central characters, which are actually trying to help the evil side win, just so they can have their ring back and trick Bilbo into walking across the world and back, because it was a bet that Gandalf had when he was drunk in the tavern where he met Aragorn, and the whole thing was a trick on Bilbo. Oh, shall I say Frodo? And this is that elf dude all the chicks dug. I mean, this guy got the chicks, bro. He has the long hair, and he's an elf. He flies around, and it's Orlando frickin' Bloom. Does he not know that he's the god of women? And if Orlando Bloom and I end up sleeping with the same girl on the same day, I'm sorry, Orlando. Because I was ready, and so were you, and you're much more of a hero than me, and more people will rely on your superstardom forever, but sorry we crossed paths in such an awkward way. He's hot too, but he's busy Lawrence of Arabiaing it in some other sequel of this movie that they're still filming and forgot to stop filming sequels. They're all still filming sequels and they forgot they stopped. That happens in a lot of movies and they just get made into something else, and I like those kind of movies that started out as one and got made as a different one. Some footage in every movie was probably made from a different movie into the piecemeal. And I'm freaking okay with that, but you gotta keep it a secret, movie buffs, because you'll be constantly searching for the smoking gun, which is the picture to be most original to this picture. This is all the piecemeal shots that will throw out the movies that we redigitized and put in here. The eye! I have seen the eye! And it looks like a hallucination of an eye. And if any of you have seen it, you must go to the psych ward, for you have hallucinated and seen what is not there. Because the eye is in this movie, but if you see it, you're hallucinating. Because the movie is using a process called persistence of vision, which is actually a hallucination in some reforms. And I apologize to the psychology community who had to hear 20 of us orcs saying, we believe the eye, we believe the eye. Like the psychologist doesn't know about the eye, he's busy with other things. And that it's just you seeing the eye makes me a little concerned. And does he see the eye? Well, he's not crazy enough to admit it. Just kidding. We're fine. We're not like taking pot shots to make this thing go longer. I think what we could have had, what we could have dreamed of, what resonance we could have brought to the future, what soaring miracles could happen in the next few moments of commercials and things we have to pay for, even if Elon Musk already owns it. We must buy it back for Elon Musk. mask so that he owns everything. That's the goal. And I already depleted his trail of funds in so many ways, and he let me. But by the grace of Elon, so go I. And I'm never going to be as rich as him, but I'm going to give him more money, I swear. Because all money's his, so all money I used really was his, so I gotta pay him back now. I know it's weird economics, how if one person controls all the money, he has to get it back once he's given it to you, otherwise he doesn't control it all. It's a hard economics. Now we must say, it's time to part. I didn't have an eclipse of my heart, and you shined on me like the Lord of the Rings. And leaving you, that really stings. So I'm gonna stay aloof and run the tapes, even if the prisoners escape, even if the sun burns down. I won't be in this here town. I will be on a disco truck, headed back to make some luck. Disposition on my mind. Rediscover, re-unwind. Insert tape 3. So that's what I was trying to tell you. This tape got all melded up and meshed, and I put it in and the tape broke, and then it reeled back in, and it still was on the same scene, so it was recording somewhere else on the footage, but this tape was just shooting everywhere and blowing up, and I had to fix it because it was the only copy. And I was going to tape over it with some Cosby Show episodes anyway, which is in poor taste of a joke, but I had to see if I could simulate the pain and irony of the 20th century with pain and misery, and that was the closest thing I thought of. And so, now that we've passed that offensive joke, and warning, warning, offensive joke, offensive joke, offensive joke, offensive joke. Well, in what way was it offensive? While I knock over these deadites.
We can't really explain it because then we'd be offensive too. But you said some words that were derangingly effective on me to know that you're stark raving mad with education and language. Man, you're saying some words that are scaring me. Don't say it, man.
Ontology. The study of the origin of the object. The objective. I don't know. A- on me. But if I find that digger corn that was in the mailbag saying he'd venerate me immediately if this turned out wrong, and he lied. He lied and turned me in to see if it would make me fall from his right hand, which he had promised me only to fail me. And I was looking at it as though then he set me up for failure. But we all must forgive and forget, and till now I thought I had a friend, but all I had was the deceitful worm of a hidden, and of course through the whole thing, my mentor John Wagner was a saint, always capturing degrees and capturing the hearts of my school and turning in the exact number of projects I needed. This being a new project, counted, and get this, postdoctoral studies. Dungeon Master of all things gets to see the light of postdoctoral studies. Masterclass.
So in Masterclass we learned how to make a cartoon out of the video game. If there's splicing spots, the camera automatically moves, but you kind of have to move your own camera to get the angle on the game you want based on the cinema that we use. The borderline a lot is to simulate that we're bootlegging, that it shakes a lot is to simulate Dungeon Master got blown up so many times. And we do feel effects of movements from swords hitting us, and it knocks the camera around. but it's not really a camera, it's a mirror dance. See, we're just thinking we're seeing this in a movie, but actually this is reality as we're watching it. See, that's what's so weird about it. I mean, isn't that what a movie is? Because you're not really thinking they're making a movie, even when they're showing making a movie in a movie about making movies. And I didn't really think it was a good idea to just go right into movie making about movie making, unless you can make it all seem like reality and not a movie. And if you make it reality and not a movie, then it's definitely a movie because it takes movie techniques to make reality. See, I paid attention. Give me an A on my paper. Hey, man. What do you think, Dungeon Master? Should I get an A? Well, I was talking to Mr. Smithy, and he said he heard from the late doctor, who's actually undead, and came back to warn you that it gets worse, and there's so many horrendous claims thrown at you, and so many lies, distractions, and just because I joined him in the Professorhood game doesn't mean this explains that this is a cartoon, except for it's moving in the same frame per second as the game engine allows it, while it's loading images with the RAM and ROM. But you see, the point is to kill all these deadites and demons in any shocking way we can, in any gruesome turn of the sword, but that we're taking the whole game on, and we're learning a lot from what to spend our money on. And I think whoever spends money on us, even if it's our government, we can consider paying half of it back, but we're gonna need the rest for our Dungeon Master budget. And where were we when we were giving up so long ago on Dungeon Master 90, and now Dungeon Master 90 takes over and becomes AWOL of itself and goes off the mission into another tower that people are falling into. And if this turns out to be Rohan, it wouldn't surprise me, but that everything's too dark to see is weird, because when I just blew that guy up with my sword, he lit up. Like watch. I mean, sometimes these guys get hit and you see the glint of the sword on the fire. Hell, he's not lighting up anymore. But I am killing the deadites, and that I'm single-handedly killing everyone only changed because I changed characters. Like, what? You mean I changed characters once till I got to here? Never mind. Keep the cameras rolling. Keep the tapes rolling. I have a few more things to tell you about this part on. Extra credit for Dungeon Master. Still no level up. May not get to level 99 in the right time, which will require a batch level up that comes soon, but not too soon. So eventually we'll get a level up, but I don't think we've been through enough. Even today, I don't think we've been through enough. It's overstimulated, and you wouldn't want it any other way. But you got to admit, this is cooler than it was when it started. And now we're like, who cares if he ends it or not? This is freaking weird. And then I remember playing this game 10 years ago, but was it more than 10? And were these movies even out 30 years ago? And they're still making ones that they don't even know exist, that they don't even know they're making them. They've got them all hypnotized and turned into avatars, and they're being run by AI. No, that's just the video game. Now, there's nothing wrong with an AI video game, because it's just learning strategies to either A, improve its own quanta of precision, or B, copy an exact file it already had, which is all it can do when it writes. So, I was talking to the writer of Dungeon Master. Can he please enter, please? Mortimer Ipswich. From Boulder, Colorado. PhD. What is it, Mortimer? Yes, I had previously worked on Dungeon Master 3, and they fired me for 4, but I came back in episode 7. And I've been on ever since, just kind of writing things, and I haven't had too much censorship, but I lost one of my Harry Potter episodes for some other movie, and it's kind of like looming over my head that I should be like Harry Potterizing this Lord of the Rings stuff, but And then I'm sitting here going, what if I'd have written this episode as another Harry Potter episode just because I got so much of my Harry Potter footage deleted? And then that they were going to insist that I keep doing it, and that it wasn't like ding dong, we have the magic flute to cover it. So maybe it's a good idea to stay on the Lord of the Ring market. At least we got dwarves blowing the shit up, right? Dwarves blowing shit up. Let's hear it for that. Now, I've got to go back to writing this episode because it kind of got confused up and nothing's on the teleprompter right now, so I don't know what to say. What do I say, guys? Okay, I'm going to go back to writing, and these guys are going to say what I type in the writing that I do exactly as I type it. Now, I had that memorized because everything else is on teleprompter. I got to go write it.
Thank you. That writer is so wordy, and if you could just tell a story and make it climax quick, because a lot of us don't last very long. Sorry, that was a killer dirty joke by Dungeon Master. No one should hear it, and it should be stricken from the limits video game history and stricken from the board meeting of Encounterment that we're all going to have to dream of, that we can still play Dungeon Master long after it's gone and it's so far ago, that to cry about it now would be to prove that you only cry tears of joy when you're confused and not sure which direction to go in, but you're still slashing away at deadites. And I think it's cool to swing an axe at deadites. Really, if you're good at it, if you're good at axe control and can axe down many enemies, then you do it. You ever think all the hours you were at a friend's house and they were playing a video game really meant that you were training to make cartoons? Well, in YouTube Masterclass, we teach you how to make cartoons from video games. It's very simple. You record the video game in progress, keep it in progress while recording. If you have to cut and use other scenes, then we will edit and use other scenes. But really what I like to do is get it all into one trap and then jump through the narrative with the timeline provided on the God of all gods, the ring of all rings, the YouTube. And I don't see how victory could swarm into our midst another power. Commercial! Dun, 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 dun. Looks like an army commercial. Maybe we should watch it. Maybe we got time to watch it, right? Can we have an extension back on this Dungeon Master? I don't know where we're going to end up. But we're somewhere between a heartbeat and a failure, because I don't see why we stayed on that commercial when we can't hear it anyway. Why do we do this if we can't hear it? If we cannot hear sound, what is this for? But noise rather than music. That was an original line. The only original that the writer wrote all day. Hey, you guys need the writer? Oh crap, I missed the teleprompter. Hang on. Yeah, hang on a minute. I'm trying to think of what to say. I'm having a little writer's block. The dark and stormy night of swinging my axe. No, hang on, I'll think of something. Having writer's block big time. Probably shouldn't have that whiskey. There are regrets, and there are regrets of regrets, but nothing's gonna change my world. We're staying Lord of the Ring themed throughout this debacle known as Middle-earth, always at war, never to bring us down to the wrong turning point of lucidity. Standing next to you in silent lucidity. When I look into your eyes, I can see the love remains. When the dogs will find her, got time to say for tomorrow. Conversations kill. Flies in the Vaseline we are. Sometimes it blows my mind. Keep getting stuck here all the time. Bebop shanana bebop shanana. Okay, Raita, you can't have all those credited to you. You can have it credited to you saying it in a different context. Okay, we're all right there. I'm arbitrating here. Yeah, you can say what the wizard says just because you're not a wizard. Yeah, who's doing all the puppet voices? Is just one voice? It better be, because this ain't Ernest P. Worrell, bro. You pay for what you get, man. I know these are expensive cartoons, but you don't have to audit me for every little movement we get across, because that's money made. These are real video games, turning into cartoons, of course. Everyone must buy the game now. The commercials are nice because they show you where to invest all your money. But here, if you don't buy the game, you're failing Dungeon Master completely. He will be so romped and rocked if he hears you aren't buying the game. Of course, he's too cheap to buy the game. He invented the game, came out of it, and charged money for it, and he's still behind. That's only because he provided all the character sheets that cost the most for Dungeons & Dragons. Character sheets are like $7.50 for like 20 of them. That's robbery. That's like 75 cents a sheet. And when they were 50 cents a sheet, even poor people could play AD&D. But 75 cents a sheet has gone bankrupting Donald Trump, and he just wants to play his AD&D, but his for real, against the other guy. And they're gonna go out there and they're gonna spork it out, but he who smokes the most weed wins. And that means it's anybody's game, because they're a couple of reefer maniacs, the presidents, that are going in for voting purposes like it matters. But that they both will corset it with crooked weed mongrels that have bongs out of the trunks of their cars, hacking and hoofing before the preliminary exam of the primary colors. They're also corrupt. We will have a smoke-off to determine the winner of the U.S. presidency. And if you don't think they're going to cover it up with some kind of Gaza Strip fake news, then, mister, you'll never make it to my realm, for I am butchering down your soldiers with a, halfling. And he's wearing, hammer pants, okay? And he's still munching you guys out. Not that Hammer Pants wouldn't munch you out. Hammer Pants would munch me out, too. Hang on, everyone. It looks like we're reassembling for another
extension needed, extension granted.
That was close. They almost cut us off from the very survival of this digital stock. The whole internet resides on us making an indestructible cloud that everything we don't want damned, we place in and it remains ours for the end of time. And that is YouTube. Only it goes on long after the world ends, because the internet gets uploaded to every alien spacecraft we hitchhike onto. That was a real shocker. Well, I'm not mad at all these commercials. I think we've learned a lot from just making commercials and seeing commercials. And that last one was so seamless that I didn't even realize we jumped. But if we jump on the mirror lamp, we're not actually editing and stopping. That's why it's a constant stream of sound, except when we do things like this. Are these the gates of El Dorado? Is this the quest beyond all graves? Is this our search for things peculiar? We're not the Knights Templar going on the Grand Tour, but we've got the same fucking ring to destroy. What are we gonna do?
Well, it's like they always curse you with the ring, you know. And everybody knows that's symbolic of marriage, because once you get a wedding ring, you can turn invisible. That's words of power they give you.
Sorry, Ryder here, having Ryder's block. I'm struggling. If somebody want to take over for Ryder 1, I'm Ryder 1. No. Can we have Ryder 2 go in there? Ryder 2 is in the bathroom. Okay, I'll try to figure something out. Is there a clog back here? Dang it. Where's Ryder 2? I don't know, I got Ryder's block. Get in there and help me, man. Look, if you're not going to help me, there's some conspiracy out to stop me. Now, go in there and plunge that thing and then get back here on Ryder 2 job. Oh, sorry. You're not Ryder 2. Sorry, old lady. I didn't mean to yell at you in the bathroom. Hang on. Sorry, guys. I got nothing to write about. I'm freaking out because Ryder 2 is not in the bathroom. That means he's probably smoking with Dungeon Master out back. I'm going to go find him. Gypsy Mime Moth. Encounter me through metaphysics, who I am that have failed, but where others have somewhat success, you have dribbled your last sentiment from me in a humorless way. Go on, be dead, and be tortured by my friendship no longer, for you have shown unto me disloyalty, and for this I must now have an unholy wedding with none other than my mentor. But it's a setup to trap some vampires that we were going to put into a project that we had when animating the Vampirio Biblio. But that was just my first semester, and I didn't know the Cantina computer was full of Moss Easley growths on it from the real Moss Easley, and they invented a place called the real Moss Easley, and there's clones and monsters and whatever else. The real Lord of the Rings, they're still building it mainly so they can get one of those giant monsters like in the screen now and show it, do all these like Jim Henson type Dead Alive puppets. And I heard that someone on the set of Dead Alive like shot a hamster or something. It was really gruesome, and the whole cast was like cursed by that movie because some jerk with a gun came by and shot an animal or something. And then Peter Jackson took his cast and crew out hunting for their evening meal, and they caught rabbit. But they didn't kill the rabbit, they ate it alive because that way it was much more ethical. But when they ate it alive, it did obstruct that it was kind of feeling pain. And they didn't eat the foot of it so they could keep it for good luck. Now I know that's really graphic to tell you when they're riding into victory. But is this victory, and will we ever really find that out? Well, it's a good thing you asked, because I don't have Ryder block no more. But now that my Ryder's block's over, I have a feeling you're already disappointed in me for having Ryder's block at all. I kind of blame the betrayal of Dungeon Master on revealing episodes he did not want revealed by a source that said they'd help him if it was, and then abandoned by all sources but his mentor, who said it was a trivial matter to scurry under the minute I asked him. Even for a crumb he threw me a pound cake. So don't sit here and say You're the black magic users that you can tell reality from falsity. You can only tell greater falsities from lesser falsities. And I guess the point in which the greater is a lesser falsity, but is it truth? Do we know that it's over?